Investigations. Good to see everybody. Hope y'all are having a good day, and I hope you enjoy this drop. If you have not subscribed to the channel, I'd like to invite you to subscribe. If you are subscribed, check and make sure that you are still subscribed because a lot of people are getting unsubscribed. Don't forget to ring the bell and select all also so you get all of our latest uploads and lives that we're putting out. We were walking down this dirt road, walking my dog, when we heard something off in the woods before us. At first it sounded like the wind, but then it sounded like a chainsaw or a dirt bike or something, and then again it was more like a deer in distress. And then, like the wind again, the weird thing was my dog, whatever it was, my dog was fixated on the sound and he was freaked out, which put me also on high alert. I knew there wasn't anything for miles around, and that's why the sound of a chainsaw was so unusual. Anyway, we paused for a moment to reflect on the sound when this pine tree, it was like 50 yards off the road, started shaking violently. I got this eerie feeling that something was really not right. The air itself even felt unnatural. I felt myself becoming disoriented, and my nose smelled like gasoline with a rotten garbage smell. I fell to the ground and I thought I could see something moving through the trees at a freakishly fast pace. It reminded me of when those people were running around in the woods at the Area 51 thing that was on YouTube. I looked over at Elle and I had a second guess myself because Elle seemed to be just fine while I was feeling like I was about to pass out or vomit or both. But that impression didn't last long because when I turned around again, Elle was doubled over, spitting and puking all over the ground. The stench of this natural gas was so strong that I thought there must be a burst pipe somewhere, and I was trying to fight off the urge to fall asleep. My dog was whining and growling at the trees, which were all seemingly swaying now, violently shaking. Trees were breaking. Again, we heard the unnatural wind sound, almost like someone was breathing through a hollow wood whistle or something like that. And again, I saw someone or something darting off in my peripheral vision. I couldn't really focus on any one spot, but now it seemed like multiple figures moving from tree to tree, flowing back and forth, with the trees causing an optical illusion that made me feel like I wanted to throw up again. It sounded like chanting coming from the trees. I fell on my back and felt myself slipping away. I knew I couldn't hold on for long in this semi-conscious state. I heard dry, crackling sound coming from just above my head, and I looked up to see my worst nightmare coming to life. There before me was an incredibly tall woman. I am 6'2", and I swear this lady was towering over me. She had a sickly black hair, and her face was shrouded in shadows. But she wore a tattered and threadbare cloak that smelt strongly of sagebrush. She slowly reached out to touch me, and I had this dire feeling that I would surely die if she made contact. Her hands were long and crooked, and her fingernails were caked with grime. My dog lunged at the thing, and I crawled backwards, trying my best to get as far away from this thing as I could. This, I believed, was what they called a wicked hag, as possible given me highly impaired state. The smell of gas mixed with burnt sage was sickening. The witch woman kicked my dog and appeared to hover above the ground before letting out a shrill shriek and flying right at me before peeling off back into the trees again. I couldn't believe what my eyes were seeing. I had really just seen a 10-foot witch creature fly off into the woods. Was this perhaps just a side effect of whatever gaseous odor had permeated every fiber of my being? Was I simply hallucinating, or was this really happening? My abdomen was so sick. I truly thought my stomach was about to explode when my dog threw himself into the woman with every last ounce of strength he could muster as the woman come busting out of the woods. I fell to the ground and grabbed my dog's collar, pulling him over the hill. I could hear the thing crackle before she flew back into the trees and leaping from tree to tree back and forth like a monkey. I hoisted myself up to my feet and groaned with the pressure as I think I fractured my rib cage. My dog was whining softly, and Elle was nowhere to be seen. I realized that the thing must have gone after Elle, so I ran back up toward the trailhead, where once more I could smell the odor. I looked up to see the witch hovering over Elle's seemingly lifeless body. It's like it was just looking into her eyes, and she was just laying there looking back into the witch's eyes. The witch was whispering something to her. I couldn't make out what she was saying, but Elle was just lying there with her eyes open and a gaze into her eyes. And I screamed at her, God Almighty, get out of here, you wicked thing. And when I said God's name, she screamed and like flew backwards, grabbing the tree backwards while facing me. It was weird how she done it. And she leaped from tree to tree until she was out of sight. And just as Elle was laying there, she awoke from like a trance or a sleep. And as we started leaving, we heard her scream as if she was so angry that we had gotten away. I have not been back to those woods, and neither has Elle, and we never will. What do you think we came across? I've heard many stories of people talk about finding witches in the woods. Witches exist, no doubt. And one of the ones, I can't remember her exact name as I'm trying to recall it right now. Spearfinger, I believe, is what they called her. The Cherokees, I believe. And it almost sounds like a Spearfinger encounter. What do you all think that they encountered? Let me know. And as always, keep your head on a swivel. Don't be something's dinner. And if you don't mind, press that like button, guys. Share this out. And as always, thank you for listening, and God bless.